Welcome! Today we're not just painting a fox, we're painting a story. At first glance, this illustration might feel bittersweet, but the process of bringing it to life is anything but. It's a journey of soft washes, delicate details and a touch of storytelling magic. I'll guide you through my thought process, the painting techniques that make the scene come alive, and the story of the fox. Grab your brushes and let us paint a winter's tale. I place my prepared sketch on the light table, tracing it carefully onto watercolor paper using soft pencil lines. I tape down my watercolor paper to prevent warping. The early morning light spills through the windows. Time for a cup of coffee and setting up my materials. Today I want the colors to breathe, soft transparent layers that capture something fragile. For the color I prepare ultramarine blue and cobalt, so I can immediately start when the paper is wet. First I wet the paper in the background. I flatten my brush when I can go fast. Around edges and flowers I keep it almost vertical and go slow. This will be a cold winter painting with an icy atmosphere, soft snowfall and a muted palette, except, of course, for the fox, who will stand out with its warmer tones. Make sure that there are no puddles of water on the paper. Time to paint. With a small brush I gently work around the flowers, the pigment barely tinting the water at first. Then, switching to a larger brush, I dot and sweep the color across the damp surface, allowing the water to do its magic. Soft, dreamy blending. I leave small areas untouched, where the snow will sparkle through. And here's a little trick. While the paper is still wet, I use a paper towel to lift a few highlights, giving the illusion of drifting snowflakes. Or, oh so professional, I just use my fingertips. This piece, called I Still Miss You, is a quiet moment frozen in time. A lone fox stands in the snow, its posture heavy with unspoken sorrow. Tiny snowdrops, delicate yet determined, push through the frost as if carrying a message. The scene is peaceful, yet something lingers in the air. Before moving on, let everything dry. No shortcuts, no hair dryers, just patience. Maybe I will unload the dishwasher, make some more coffee. But you could subscribe. When I return, the next step of the story will unfold. I use two brushes, one for paint and one large brush for clean water. Start by diluting some Naples yellow. This will serve as a warm and transparent underpainting for the fox. Around the edges of the fur, switch to your clean water brush. This will help create a soft, fuzzy effect later on. Be mindful. No yellow on the white or the very dark areas. While the yellow dries, I take a moment to set up the next colors. A brownish red and darker brown like burnt umber. This part moves quickly, so you want your paint ready to go. No scrambling mid-painting. Now comes the magic. When the yellow is absolutely dry, I use water on the areas where I want a softer look. This will help blend the colors seamlessly. If you add too much, simply dab it away with a paper towel. Some parts dry fast. To prevent unwanted sharp edges, pull the paint downward gently, keeping some areas lighter for natural highlights. While the reddish color is still damp, introduce the darker brown umber. This is where the fox starts to take shape. Use it to emphasize anatomy like the shoulder blade, spine, or darker parts in your painting. Aye, did the foxtail dry too fast? No problem. I use the clean brush with a touch of water to rehydrate the area, allowing for a smooth transition. For the snowdrop leaves, mix the Naples yellow with the ultramarine or cobalt. Staying within the existing color palette will help maintain harmony in the painting. We call them sneeuwklokjes in Dutch, little snow bells. With this layer complete, I let everything dry again. The fox is starting to come to life, soft, warm, and fitting seamlessly into its surroundings. In the next chapter I will start diving into the fox's tail. I prepare ultramarine blue, some cobalt, but mostly Payne's grey. With a clean brush dipped only in water, I gently pre-wet the areas where the snow lies undisturbed. I carefully paint just the crevices and shadowed areas of the snowbanks, and behind the flowers to make them stand out. Snow isn't pure white, it borrows colors from its surroundings. I switch between the colors for variety, though Payne's grey dominates. Let's add a piece of the story. I paint a trail of tiny paw prints in the snow. Each step is deliberate, leading towards the rock. The fox knew exactly where he was going. The footprints are a path, a narrative thread guiding the viewer's eye up the composition, from the ground to the rock, and finally to the fox himself. Even the way the snow settles points towards him. He is the heart of this painting. But why? Why would a fox on this bitter cold day make his way to stand upon a rock, alone against the cold? What is he looking at? Or perhaps, who is he remembering? I mix Payne's grey with a touch of burnt umber and begin painting the rock. A second, darker layer will help create its shadow. I use a darker mix of the same to paint the fox's ears and nose. So far, everything remains soft and muted, a quiet world blanketed in snow. But in the next chapter, we will sharpen the edges, bringing more life into the scene and see what the fox is searching for. I follow the natural flow of the fur with a pencil. A tiny brush could do the same, but I love the subtle contrast of watercolor and pencil. The goal is to add details and texture without losing the softness. As we look closer, something about the fox's posture shifts. His ears are pricked, his eyes distant. He is listening, not to the present, but to echoes of the past. But it is quiet. No birds sing. No branches creak. The only sound is the faint rustling of snowdrops in the wind. Snow falls in slow, heavy flakes, muffling the world around him. He is alone with his memories. Even though this scene holds sadness, painting it does not feel heavy. In fact, I find joy in bringing his emotions to life. I keep layering the fur, always working in the natural direction of the hair. I subtly suggest the anatomy of the fox, no harsh lines, just the gentle curve of his spine and muscles. Then I reach for my brush again. A deeper mix of brown and Payne's grey allows me to darken the fox's distant legs. A small touch, but an important one. It helps separate him from the background, making his presence stronger, more tangible. And then we see it, what the fox has been looking at all along. In the snow before him lies a fox skull, half buried by time. His long-lost partner has been here for many seasons now. They met right here, years ago in springtime. He still remembers the first time he saw her, standing on this very rock, surrounded by a field of snowdrops. Her fur blazed like fire in the light of the rising sun. It was love at first sight for him. But for her, she was fierce, wild, untouchable. She made him work for her heart, and that only made her all the more captivating. Now she is gone, and yet in this place she is everywhere. But let's return to the painting. There's still more of the story to tell. The day has passed. I began painting at sunrise, working in small stints throughout the day, layer by layer, and allowing the paint to dry, stepping away, returning with fresh eyes. Now, as I sit here again, the sun has already set. Let's take one more look at the composition before I tell the end of the story. Can you see how everything connects? The paw prints tell a silent tale, leading us up to the rock, the place where this love story began. And now, that same rock bears witness to the love that still lingers, even in loss. The fox gazes at the skull, his loyalty unwavering, his heart still tethered to the one he lost long ago. And yet the snowdrops bloom. Snowdrops are a sign of hope, and spring is a sign of change. With a gentle tap of my brush, I scatter falling snow across the scene, using gouache. The fox remembers it all. The life they lived together, their love, their quarrels, the way they played and tumbled through the seasons. He remembered when they became parents, their 3 pups tumbling over this very rock, chasing each other through the fields. He remembers how the little ones tried to eat the snowdrops, their tiny teeth crunching curiously on the delicate petals. Time carried them all forward. The pups grew, found their paths, and left the 2 foxes to run side by side again. They watched countless sunrises and sunsets, never tiring of each other's presence. Their love remained strong, unshaken by time. And then, one winter, she lay down beside their rock for the last time. He stayed with her, never leaving her side, not even for a moment. As the snow fell around them, she took her final breath. Since that day, not a single snowdrop has ever bloomed in this field. Until now. This year the snowdrops have returned, pushing through the frost, their delicate petals growing around the skull of the fox's lost love. A sign? Perhaps. He has walked alone for many seasons. He's listening, hearing the whispers of their forever love. Soon they will be together once more. And that is where I leave this story, full of loss, but also full of love. I hope you enjoyed this journey, both the painting and the tale. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Have a nice day.